All right, so let's get started. Hold on, let me just put in my local host. Let me set that up. Okay, so this was the table we created yesterday. Back end. Yeah, I think this was it. My database. So I'm going to clear that database. We are going to start from beginning in a different database. So let me click on this and drop. All right. So remember what we did yesterday? We created a new database. So now we're going to do a school registration system. Like we are going to take the name of the student, the full name of the student, email, age, and department. Okay, so let me open up my local host. Please, if you have any question, please you can ask me before we proceed. If you have any question regarding yesterday's class, please. Does anyone have question regarding yesterday's class? I believe that will be no. Zachariah, Abade, Abade, you are giving a thumbs down. Do you have any question?
Sorry, I don't have any question. I meant no.
Okay. So just like we did that yesterday, we created a database in our SQL server. So what you're going to do is to create a new database. So we're going to create new database. Let's say school database. So school underscore db. Then use school underscore db. Now inside of that, we're going to create table. Create table students. Inside of that student, we need columns, which we need ID, which will be integer. And remember what I said yesterday is auto increment. Then we also take their full name. Please, are you pushing my screen? Okay. So take their full name to So to varchar equals to 150 words. Not. um, Then we'll take email. Not no. And their age should be integer because it's numbers. So age should be integer and not new. Then take their department also. Not. All right, so we have to click on go. Click on go to create the database. Okay, we are having an error here. Create database. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to that. Okay, let me go out to the code to see where the issue is coming from. Auto increment. There should not be an issue. There should not be an issue here. I think we should just do that one by one. So copy. Let's see what we have. So we've created database. This okay. So we are in the last part of the database creation now. So let's see if this part will work. Okay, we are still having that same issue. Now they said no database selected. Okay, yes, I forgot to select the database. What we created was school database. So let's check here if you can see somewhere like that. School database, school database. Okay, here is it. Okay. So let's see if you're going to have any issue here. Okay, so we've created it. Now, it mustn't be exactly what I've done that you should do. You understand? You can actually use a different thing. Like me, I took in the name, email, age, department. For you, you can also take in their course. You can also take course. You can take their date of birth or something more like student platform. So I'm just trying to hasten up because I have other things to do right now. All right, so now let's remember how we created the config.db yesterday. That's the configuration from our server to the database in our VS Code. What we created was config.php. Please, if I'm fast, somebody should call me. Please, somebody should call my attention. Config.php. Now, please, what does the config.php do? Someone should answer that question. Are you guys following? Zachariah, I'm asking a question. What does the config.php do? I said it before I asked the question.
It connects this, the both servers.
Yo, like, please, are we listening? Are we here? I am asking. I said this thing yesterday, and I also repeated it today. What is the work of the config.php? I think if we don't answer this question, this class won't hold. About it.
Um, okay. What the config.php does is it stores the database connection details.
Okay. Thank you very much for that answer. Yes, it stores the connection from the server to the database. So let me continue. In that, we have to remember we start our code, our backend code with PHP tag. It's necessary, PHP. So like I did yesterday, same thing goes. We put in host equals to localhost and database equals to school DB. Then user equals to root. Remember, this root is actually the default access to your database for localhost. If you're on live server, you need to create a username for that. So next is password. Then we'll set up our connection. Okay. So that's it for the config.php. Now we need to create the student registration form. That's for the front end. So what we're going to do is create index.php, or let's say index.html. Any of them you would like to use. So I will use index.html. So index.html. So I would think I would just use basic HTML code here. Doc type HTML, HTML language, English. Let me just change the title of this page to add students. Add students. The front end teacher talk about H2 tag, H1, H2, and paragraph. That's header one and header two. Okay, that means you know what is. That means you guys know what I'm talking about here and what I'm doing here. Okay. So let's create our body and use H2 student registration. About the same thing we did yesterday for the form. Form and put in action. then calling the page we need to save it to. So let's say I'm going to save it to save student.php. So I'll just put save underscore student.php. Please, for those of us that might be confused on how to actually use two words together in a for those of us who would like to actually create two different names on a particular page, please remember that if you use space bar, it will not actually save because the code editor does not know what this space mean, the space in between the save student. So it's either you use underscore or you use this minus sign. I believe you guys are seeing my screen, right? Okay. All right. So remember, if you want to use two words, so let's say I want to save students, it's either I use save students like without actually spacing it .php like this, or I use underscore if I want to actually space it. If I want to space it, I'll use underscore or I'll use this minus sign. So let's say I want to actually use a longer name like I am saving students.php. See, if you create something like this, the coding editor does not know what it means. So what you have to do, you have to remove every space. If you want to add spaces, either you use underscore or you use the minus sign. So I'm going to clear this and just use the underscore save underscore students.php. That's for the action. Now for the method, remember the method is post. You are posting to the back end. So let's just put method post. Now time to put it label. Let's put the first label, which is their full name. Say full name. Then let me add break here. Please, I will explain this break, this BR. I will explain what it means. Let me just add the input element. Input type is text. So let's put text, and the name is full name. And you can set it as required. So let's just put it required and close it. All right, so let me go back to the index.html on live server. All right. Remember, our server runs on localhost and subfolder is backend. So as you can see, this is what we have. We have student registration, full name, then the input form. Now, without that BR I opened, this full name, this text input, this input form would have been in the same line with the full name. Now let me remove it. Let me remove the break. Yeah, Control S, refresh. So as you can see now, since I've removed the break, this is what we have. We have full name and the text input right beside the full name. So for a clearer form, just put our break here, BR, and that's it. Then save. Now remember what we created in our database. Let me check database what we created. What we created in our database, we created full name, email, age, department. So the next thing we're going to create now is the email. Since we've already created the name, let me open the VS Code. So now the next thing is label and email. Remember, you add your break. Add your break. Control S, and let's check our live server to see if it is there already. Refresh. So this is it. There's also an issue here. Let's see. Okay, there was no break after the full name. So let me add a break there. Control S, refresh. So this is what we have. Now with that styling, we can actually give it another space. And give it another space, right? To not be conjoined together like this. So let me just add another break here. That's double break. Control S and refresh. As you can see, I've spaced. There is a little bit of space in between the full name and the email. So far, so good. Do we have any question before I proceed? Is there any question? Are we following? Okay, so there's no question. All right, so now we've added the full name, email. Let's check the database to see what we have there. We have full name, email, age, and department. So let's create the age form now. So remember, label. Sorry, let me add the break. I forgot to add the break. Remember, double break, BR, and another BR. Now, a separate label. Now, also, I remember you can actually add phone number to your form. You can actually add phone number to your form. So let me add the age. So age and input type should be number. Input type. Remember this, our input type here was text. Then for email, it was email. Now for age is an integer. So you have to use number. So let's say number. Then name of the form is age. And it should be required. Yes. So Control S. Let's go back to our server to see our browser rather. So this is it. Yeah, I think there's an issue here. This sign here. Let me remove it. Let me see if I have something like that. Okay, yes. This is it here. Remove. And I did not add a break here. So let me add it. Break. Then Control S to save. Now let me refresh this. And this is what we have. Now let me add the department and the submit button. Please, how many of us followed up yesterday's class? How many of us was in yesterday's class?
Sorry, sir. Good evening. I was in yesterday's class, but I did not follow up because there was no power in my place. I had power issues, but I will follow the both of them today, like today's class and
Oh,
yesterday's class. And then I will get back to
okay,
it.
okay. No problem, no problem. So now let's move out to the form. The new label we are going to create is department. So let me save it, department, and our input text department and is required also. Now let me save and go back to the form, refresh. So we have it here. Remember, I did not add any break after the department, after the label. So let me add a break now. Let me add a break. I don't know if the front end teacher actually told you guys that no matter how you space your code, are you pushing my screen? Okay. No matter how you space your code, it does not affect your front end. Now let me show you what I mean. Now this is a long space between the department label and the input for the department. Now let me save it and go back to our code, our browser to refresh. It remains the same. So if you want to add a space in between your department and the form, what you have to do is add a break. So just keep on adding break. In CSS, you can actually style it to your text, but for now we are not doing front end development. So this is just basically what a backend developer needs to know what he's doing. So now I added 3 breaks here. Let me save and let's see what we have. Now, if you notice, you see that there's a huge difference. There's a huge space in between the department and its form. So that's how we set space in between the label and the input. But we don't need that for now. So let me just Control Z and Control S. Now we've done that. Somebody should please tell me what next is required for us to do here.
The submit button, I guess.
Yes, the submit button. So now after finishing the form, remember everything must still be inside of this form tag. Everything you are doing inside of the form should remain inside of the form. So including the submit button should remain inside of the form. So let's open the tag and button type is actually submit. Then we need to add a text. So let's say register students. Register students. Students. Control S. And let's see. So this is what we have here. We have it as register students. Remember, since we made our form required, remember the name, full name is required, the email is required, the age is required, and department is required. So we cannot submit the form without actually filling up those places. If you actually see some website that we use on a daily basis, if you try to submit something without filling up a particular space in the page, you will see a reminder or a notification to tell you that you should go back and fill up this particular form. What they do there is just to set a simple instruction which is required. Now let me remove this required from the full name. Let me just clear it up and Control S save. Now we'll notice something that it will not show required on the full name, but it will show in the email aspect. So let's see. Let me click on submit and register students. Now it has left the full name and now appearing on the email form. Please fill in this field. So that's what the required is actually meant to do. Now, since we've done this part, what is the next step we should take? Hello, are we following? Since we finished the form, what is the next step we should take?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I not joined from beginning because I was having network issues. So I think it's to go and write down a post code to save the document or the list of the details of the people that are registering. I guess so.
Yes, that's to do the save student.php. That's the back end. Now, this is the front end. Now, this is where our work comes in. So now let me create the save student.php. Now, without creating this save student.php, if we fill in the form and submit, we will get something like 404 error or page not found. So let me just fill up this form and click on register. So we are seeing not found because we've not created the save.php page. Now let's create the save.php page. Save underscore php. Is it save student? Sorry, save underscore students.php. Remember, we added s in the form here. So if we do not add s here, it will give us page not found error. So let me add the s. Save students. S is necessary. .php. Now, before I continue, what is the first thing we should do in the back end code? Another person should answer.
So you say, come again.
I said before we get started from the save underscore student.php code, what is the first thing that we need to put in the save.php?
PHP. That's what's the name of that sign again?
That's the first the PHP tag.
Yes, the PHP tag.
So after that, what's the next thing we should do? Remember, this is the back end. I talked about it yesterday.
You close this close the PHP
Right.
tab.
Before closing the PHP tag, you need to actually put in your code, your database query.
I think that will be echo. Then you put in your dollar sign and you call the function of saving the student's name before closing the PHP tag.
That's correct, but partially. Remember, we have the config.php. So what we'll do here, first of all, after putting in this PHP tag, the next thing we should do is to include or require the config.php. That's the database connection. Without the database connection, it cannot save to the database. It's necessary. So let me include it here. So that one, include config.php. Now there is something. If as a web developer or as a full stack developer or backend developer, if you want to do a serious job for somebody, you will not just put your config.php in the same folder as the other page, as the other files. So you can just create a subfolder and say server, then move your config.php into the server. That's by dragging it from where it was to the server folder. Now we have my config.php inside of the server folder. I hope you are seeing my screen. Okay. So now, since we've added it inside the server folder, we also have to call in the folder we've added. Who is that? Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Now we also need to call the server to include the config from it. So instead of putting just config here, we'll type in server /config.php. Now, what's the next thing we should do? For those of us following from yesterday, what's the next thing we should do?
Then you put your if and dollar sign.
Okay, yes, that's the request method. We call on the
Yes,
server to actually pull the request from the index or from the file sending the request to it. I really like your activeness. You are trying. So this is it. If server request method posts.
Sorry, please. The this thing must it be written in capital letter, or you can write it in small letter and it will still call this thing, the server, or it's a
I've
must
not
like.
tested. I've not tested my code with using my like the request method. I've not tested it in small letter, but since you asked, it's actually good to notice that. Let me try to use smaller letter to see if it will work. I've not used it before. I did not even figure out I need to use that. So let's just test it together
All
and
right.
see
Thank you.
if it will work. All right. So let's see request method. But I believe PHP has sensitivity in some code. So if it does not work, that means it's actually necessary to use capital letter. But let's
Uh,
test
what,
it first to see.
what I'm asking is because most of the libraries or frameworks that front end use is mostly capital letter because they are sensitive. So I just wanted to confirm because yeah.
Yeah, PHP also have something like that too. But me, I've not tested it. I've not been that curious. So just since you've asked the question, let's just test it together and see if it will work like that.
All
So
right.
the next thing we should use is name as the name. Remember, we will not add the ID because the ID actually increases by itself. So let's see underscore post. Sorry, there's a mistake somewhere. I think this is not name. This should be full name. This should be full name. Let me check our index. Yes, this should be full name. This is the name here. So it should be full name. Let me change this. Let me correct this. Full name.
And sorry, for JavaScript, because this thing, the word following the first word or consequently, it usually have the first letter to be capital. It doesn't mean that for PHP it does not like require that first name, the first letter to be capital. You can write it like that, Abi.
Yes, yes. But there is something about PHP. If it requires capital letter, that means every single word in that particular function should be
Should
capital
be
letter.
capital.
Yes,
Okay,
but
okay.
for JavaScript, which has their own framework, that's React,
And,
Node.js, sorry, Node.js, right? Those platform uses those first words should be capital letter, then something like that.
all right, all right.
Yeah. So I believe I'm already seeing errors here, but I'm not sure. I'm not confident enough to know if it will work. So I'm just testing it with you guys. So let's see if it will actually work. Post and put in our full name. That's what it's getting from the front end, posting to the back end. The next thing, email, age, and department. So department. Now let's call on the SQL. SQL equals to pulling the command to insert into students. Sorry, I've forgotten the table we created. Let's see the table we created. Okay, it's students. Inside of the database, school DB, what we created was students table. So we are inserting our input into the student table. So it's insert into students, the full name, email, age, description, and the values. Now, insert into students is actually getting the full name from database. The full name from database. Please, if you should excuse me, please. You're actually getting this full name, this first full name, email, age, department from the database. Then values is what is being gotten from the index.php. So every single thing here is being pulled from the index.php to fill in everything from database here. Now let's add the if statement to save to show the student registered successfully, or sorry,
Sorry,
student
sir.
registered
I
successfully.
I sorry, I was not participating fully in yesterday's class. I wanted to ask, the database, is it created in the config.php, or is just something that I would go and do manually, or we write the code in config.php?
We will actually create it manually using the localhost php my admin. Don't worry, after the class, I have recorded the class, and today on we actually get the audio in it, so you can follow up everything we've done so far. I believe you came late, right?
I came late for today own because my network has been disturbing since yesterday, and then NEPA issues Kwano is disturbing me seriously this side. So I
Okay,
came late
okay,
today. But from what you've written so far, at least I grabbed something. Apart from that database you just talked about now.
okay. It's the same thing we did yesterday. I hope you followed up that yesterday. Okay, yesterday you have network issues also, right?
Yeah, that is, yesterday was really, really bad. I could not even see your screen at all. So that
Okay,
was why.
okay.
And then I've not been able to follow up the one you dropped in the YouTube channel because my laptop has been off since yesterday. So, but don't worry, just continue. I will check it out later.
All right, no problem. So back to what we are doing. We need to add an if statement to show if it has actually inserted to the database. It should show student registered successfully or show the error. So we already have it here. I just need to click my tab. Remember, we should install the prettier to help us actually go have this auto suggestion that actually works perfectly, but sometimes it's actually confusing and most times um annoying. But for now, it's actually doing what I wanted to do by myself. So
Sir,
let's save.
how can we do that? Sorry for river.
I talked about installing prettier yesterday. Talked about installing prettier yesterday. I don't know if you were in yesterday's class. Where you go to the extension and install prettier in your VS Code. That's you click on Control Shift X in your VS Code. Let me click on Control Shift X. Sorry if I'm correct. Yes, Control Shift X, right? So this is it. This is the prettier here. You search for prettier using this text input prettier, and this is it. You install it. Mine is already installed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. Please give me 1 second. All right. I'm back. So since we've done the save student.php and index.php, let's test the code and see if it will work. Remember, we are test running something. Instead of using capital letter, we are using small letter. So let's see if it will work. Okay, undefined variable server. So as you can see, the server needs to be capital letter because it's actually compulsory for the PHP framework. So let me change this from small letter to capital letter. Let's see. Server, save. Now let's refresh and see if we have anything. Undefined array key request method. Now this shows that the request method needs to be capital letter because it's actually the compulsory framework that has been embedded in PHP. So let me change this to capital letter. Request method. Let's refresh and see. It's just blank. It's not supposed to be blank. But let me see if we have it inserted to our database. All right, there's nothing in
I
our
guess
database.
that post also is supposed to be capital letter.
Capital letter, yes.
I don't.
Let me change this to capital letter. It should, I think it should be all the posts. All the posts should be capital letter. So instead of selecting
Yes,
them one, I
yes,
just need to click on Control Shift L to select everything and type post.
exactly.
So let's see if we have something like that. New students, new student record created successfully. So let me check the localhost PHP database if we have something like that there. All right, so we have something like that. We have full name, Gideon Ibere, email, this is the email, age, and department. So that shows that everything is working perfectly fine. Okay.
So
I
sorry, that means everything should be in capital letter for that first line of code. The server, the request method, and the post, right?
Yes, yes. Remember the
Oh,
server, the request
all right,
method, the
all right.
post should be in capital letters.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Thank you.
there should be something missing. There, we need to get something. We did it yesterday, so I don't know if anybody remembered. There is some after doing the save.php and then the index page. There is something. There's also a page we need to create. You know what? I think that should be an assignment. We don't need to answer that. The assignment should be that create a page that will list out the students in database. We did it yesterday. Are you following?
So, sir, is it the one we did that there was table and everything? Table that shows the number of students that registered and like.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Sorry, sir. What of us that were
So
not
I
in the
think
class?
yeah, that yesterday
Yes.
I
Though we
am
are going
we
to still,
I
we
actually done
are
it.
going to still pick it up, sure. When are we submitting the assignment?
Tomorrow is Saturday. Let's say tomorrow.
Ewo.
The
All
last
right. No,
assignment, only one person submitted it.
which one?
The one
The
that the front end teacher
HTML.
did. Yes.
Ah, all right. No wala.
So I think
Should
this
we
one
submit
we are
it
submitting
there?
it tomorrow. No, drop it
Okay,
in the
sir.
group chat.
All right, sir.
All right. So that will be all. After now, I'll be uploading um the screen recording to the YouTube channel, so you can follow up from there. Okay, Savior. I think you have a question. Sorry, I was not paying attention to the phone.
Okay, sorry, I don't know. I was brought into the group late for the backend project. So my own question is, how do I set up my computer to be able to run PHP and the rest? Because I don't normally run PHP. Because I know that I'm seeing all these things, but how do I set up my computer so I can be able to use it?
Okay. I don't know if I can do that now. Let me see if I can do something. But you have VS Code running, right?
Yes, I have VS Code running.
Do you have XAMPP on your system?
No, no, I don't have Zamp. I don't have Zamp. I was
So
told Zamp, but I don't know what Zamp is. I don't know where to get it.
you just search for download XAMPP, double
Okay,
X A M P,
okay,
double X A M P, double P.
okay, sir.
So this is it. XAMPP, download XAMPP. Then you click on the website and just it will be easily navigatable. So this is just it. Then you click on download. If your system is 64 bits, it will give you 64 bits for your Windows for you to use.
Okay, sir.
Then after that, after you finish installation, it's just easy. Just open the app and you see your Apache and MySQL. You click on start to actually start the two server. Please, my time is up and I have something to meet up now. So you can just DM me privately so I can just guide you on what to do if you
Okay,
encounter any issue.
okay, sir. No problem, sir.
All right, all right. Thank you very much for joining the class today.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Please, I'll be expecting the assignment tomorrow. Please. All right. Good night, everybody.
Sorry, is it before the class or after the class?
Before the class.
Before the assignment, can you just type it in the group, please? Please, please. So I will not forget.
All right. No problem. All right. So that'll be all for today. See you guys in tomorrow's class.